Wherapy. Therapy wherever, whenever.
Hello, my name is Philip Anderson. I'm a therapist and the founder of Wherapy. Wherapy, therapy whenever, wherever. We offer one-on-one online therapy sessions as well as a subscription-based platform with online mental health courses, free live group therapy sessions, guided meditations, journaling programs, self-help programs, and the like. So please, if you're interested, check it out at wherapy.com. Today, I thought I'd answer a viewer question, and the question is as follows. Hi, Philip. I have, for as long as I can remember, seen having a wife and children as the most important aspect of my life. They have given me a sense of meaning when there has been none. But now that the children are all grown up and need me less, my heart has seeked itself to the nearby dog shelter where I spend a lot of my time. These dogs have instilled in me a sense of meaning similar to what my family gave me when the children were much younger. The only problem is that I feel torn between these dogs and my wife. My wife is very understanding and I love her as much as the day we first met, but I can't help but feel bad towards my wife when I'm with the dogs and vice versa. Please give me some advice. So we're going to give him some advice, but in order to do that, I'm going to have to move over to the whiteboard. So just give me a second. So before I begin answering the question, I'm going to look at the dynamics of the problem. And for this, I am going to use the objective and method model. And the objective and method model, if you're wondering what it is something that I made up to illustrate psychological inner conflict. And if you want to know more about the objective and method model, it's available as a course called Know Yourself on Wherapy Plus. So just go over to Wherapy Plus and subscribe. It's only $14 a month, and $1 goes to a very, very good charity. Well, this person he has two conflicting methods of fulfilling one objective in his life. One thing that he mentioned in his email was how much meaning his family gave him, or his wife gave him, or his children gave him, and how much meaning this dog shelter gave him. So he has, now that the children are grown up and out of the picture, they're obviously still there, but we're going to just write the wife for this case. So we have the wife here, yeah? And then we have the dog shelter here. And these two give him meaning, and meaning is his objective. So these two things are methods, and they're competing with each other. And the easiest way to solve this would just be to eliminate one. Okay, well, I can't go to the dog shelter. But now he has begun going to the dog shelter and he's become really attached to it. So we have two methods competing with each other, and that is the status quo. These methods, in his world, are not going to disappear. He loves his wife as much as he did when they first met, and he loves going to the dog shelter. And the fact that these two methods are existing and competing with each other creates the animosity. And the fact that they're going nowhere creates the animosity. We have a force here and a force here, and they're both pushing on his conscience. Yeah. So if he's at the dog shelter, he's worried about his wife feeling a little bit lonely or feeling bad that he is there, and vice versa. There's a lot of guilt there. Yeah. And there becomes a time and place where one method might become a little bit bigger momentarily than the other. He might be, I'm going to have to erase this. So wife, dog shelter. Dog shelter, since presumably he replaced earlier method, children, with dog shelter, this has become a very big issue. He wanted to fill the void left by the children, so he has given that more focus. So this method might be taking a lot more space than this little method at the moment. And the methods, they can always change in size, but in this case, in this person, usually you can just eliminate a method, but he is attached to both of them and he loves both of these methods. So that's out of the question, yeah. But the fact that one is getting smaller whilst not disappearing entirely will pull on his conscience. He is always going to know that it's there, and he's always going to feel guilty for not making it a bigger part of his life. Yeah. And then he might all of a sudden say to himself, well, I can't cope with this anymore. I'm going to give I'm going to shift focus a little bit. I'm not going to be as much as at the dog shelter. So he makes the wife method bigger and the dog shelter method a lot smaller. And then and we've got this opposite dynamic. He knows that the dog shelter is still there in his heart, and he is feeling bad because it's getting smaller. So these are competing with each other, and there's a little bit of animosity between them in his mind, yeah, in his mental process. And they're both giving him meaning. So if it goes badly in one of them, which will inevitably lead to it going badly in the other, then his likelihood of fulfilling this objective and becoming happy at having meaning in his life will become a lot smaller. So that's what's going on inside of this person's mind. Now let's solve it. But before I do, I'm just going to give you a quick preview of the Know Yourself course. So if you're dealing with a similar issue to the man who wrote me an email, then I've got a great course for you. It's on Wherapy Plus, the subscription service that we have. And Wherapy Plus, if you want to learn more about it, just go over to wherapy.com/Wherapy Plus. There's loads of information on this page. Wherapy, just a short summary is that it offers online mental health courses, journaling programs, guided meditations. The mental health courses are written by mental health experts like me, and there's a growing list of other mental health experts and therapists that are writing new courses as we speak. So the courses are growing in number. And there's also live seminars based on the courses, and there's free group therapy sessions, all for just $14 a month, and you get a 2-week free trial with that. So check it out when you have time. And let me just show you the course quickly before we get back to answering this man's questions. So we have the course, or we have the Wherapy Plus page here. These are all the courses that are available right now. But the one that we are looking at, the one that we are using, are the one that I've illustrated to you rather, is Know Yourself. And Know Yourself deals with inner conflict. And there's a lot of depression that is based on inner conflict. That is the main concept in psychodynamic therapy. And this is a course that I've written myself. I've come up with 3 different models that display psychological processes that are going on in your mind. And at the end of the course, we combine them together using tracing paper and normal paper. We draw them as we go. We combine them together to show what's happening inside of you and how you are reacting to it. It's very cool indeed, if I may say so myself. The course is 4 weeks long. A session takes about anything between half an hour and an hour. You can obviously take it at your own pace. There is some homework set at the end of the session, and you've got about a week to finish it. Yeah. So once you take the first week, you'll have to wait. Once you take the first session, I should say, you'll have to wait a week to take the next. But if you want to wait 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that's fine. Let me just show you a little bit about a little bit of the first lesson, which is called the objective and method theory, the thing we're using in this video, the thing we're using to the thing we're using to answer our friend's question. Yeah. So the objective and method theory, the courses are, each page has a video, and this course is obviously hosted by me, so I'm explaining the concept. And then there's a long written explanation, which has red highlighted letters to make it a little bit easier to read. If you're coming back to read it, it makes it a lot easier to just skim through. And then there's some beautiful illustrations there. Here we have the objective and method theory with the different methods, different objectives, different prime methods, and these are all obviously competing with each other and causing a lot of inner conflict. And then we have the expanded version, which has different sizes depending on the prominence of the objective and the method. And then we have case studies. So here we have a case study about a man called Vincent, and we're going through his objectives and methods here. And then we look at where things go wrong. We have a quick read through of that, and we can also just look at the video. And then we return to our friend Vincent, so we're using case studies here all the time. And then we have our homework. So this is a little bit how the courses look like on Wherapy Plus. So if you're interested, again, just go over to wherapy.com/Wherapy Plus. And if you want to subscribe, it's just $14 a month. And as I said, $1 goes to charity every month. And the charity that we've chosen this year is a charity called the Gunnar Trust, which helps disadvantaged families attend football or soccer matches. So go over and check it out. Now let's get back to answering our friend's question. So how do we go about solving this issue? Now, a typical piece of advice would be to, well, make a schedule and split it 50-50 between the dog shelter and your wife. This is some practical, logical advice, which sounds good in practice, but what it really does is it puts a lot of pressure on this man. If he can't maintain the 50-50 balance, then he's just going to be back at square one, and there's going to be real conflict in his life, in his psychological process. There's going to be a lot of pain there. So what we really want him to do is, if you looked at the little short video of the Know Yourself course, you'd notice that there is the person here, and then there's a few objectives around him, and then there's a few methods and prime methods. Yeah. And what we really want him to do is to recompartmentalize his methods, change them around a little bit based on the objectives that he has in his life. And one other objective might be connection. This is a very typical objective. And having a relationship. Yeah? He said in his email to me that he wouldn't have had any meaning in his life if he didn't have his wife and kids. And this is not a great foundation to build a life on. Yeah? Relationships shouldn't be what gives meaning to your life in this case, because then you're very dependent on that relationship going well. There should be other aspects of your life which help you get meaning, a sense of meaning, help you achieve this objective. And there should be relationships that help you achieve a sense of connection, because that alleviates the pressure from the method wife or from the method family for that matter. Imagine being someone's meaning to their life. That puts a lot of pressure on them. Yeah. So it's a without being too strong. I'm not saying it's a recipe for disaster, but it's a bad foundation to build a relationship on. So what he really should do is to move this method over to connection. And this is me imagining that he has that as another objective. And if you watch the course, you'll see that people usually have 4 to 5 different objectives in their life, and they have several different methods leading into them. Yeah. But creating this difference between, well, dog shelter gives me a sense of meaning. I'm giving back to the world. I'm giving back to the community. I'm saving animals. Whereas wife gives me a sense of connection. That takes away the sense of competition. And the way that he can do this is by not looking at them as two competing elements. Well, why don't you bring your wife with you to your dog shelter? How do you change your relationship to your wife from it being something that gives you meaning to it being something that gives you a sense of connection? And maybe that is not putting as much focus on achieving certain things with your wife, to becoming that person that she really loves in order for you to get that sense of meaning. Maybe the whole point is to have her around, is to have a great relationship with her, but to share the different aspects of your lives, and this is for her as well, that give you meaning. Yeah. So converting the wife from meaning to connection would be taking away the sense of there being a goal with the relationship, and more sharing the different aspects of your life with that person. That creates the connection.